Here I have a very limited palette. Burnt umber, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and titanium white. I'm going to start with the background. I want the background to be a little bit cooler. This will make it more atmospheric. If I push the background further, this will make the painting look more realistic when I come closer and start painting the objects. So I want the background to be more bluish, violet, a little bit more saturated. Something like that. A little bit more magenta. Let's try this. Beautiful. I can see that this area here is more bluish and more saturated. I'm mixing more ultramarine blue to the mixture. At this stage, I'm staying away from white. I don't want to use too much white because this will make the paint chalky. At the beginning of the painting, I want to keep the saturation as high as possible. I don't want to make it messy. I want the colors to be clean as much as possible. More bluish here. You see how I blend the colors. I'm not doing it too much at this stage. The beginning of the painting, I want to cover the canvas as quickly as possible. Later I can come back and, blur the colors more, maybe with a soft brush. Here I have a dark shadow coming from the cup. Not too dark, but a little bit darker than the surrounding. So I'm just marking this for later on. Now from here, it becomes a little bit brighter, then the brighter area is here. So I want to start introducing a little bit more white. And still using magenta. I don't want to touch the cadmium red yet, because this will push the background to us. I want it to stay behind, further from us. I'll try this. Maybe a little bit brighter. Beautiful. Little by little, I don't want to push it too much. It's a little bit brighter than the left side, but still darker than this side. Like this, very gradually. You see. Slowly but surely. I'm covering the areas behind the object, which is the most important thing at this stage of the painting. Covering the background as quickly as possible. Now the right side in the painting is much warmer, but still I'm using the magenta. I don't want it to be too warm. It's a little bit warmer than the left side, so I'm introducing more magenta and more white because it's obviously much brighter. I'm putting a little bit of linseed oil. This helps the paint to stretch and cover faster. I love using linseed oil as the basic medium in painting. It's amazing. You don't need to buy complicated mediums. Linseed oil can make 90% of the paintings from start to finish. Of course, you need to be aware that we are always painting fat over lean. So the more layers you put, you need to use thicker oil, maybe cold pressed oil paint. You know, keep it in mind. At this stage, everything is very thin. I'm using just a little bit of linseed oil, not complicated things. I'm not complicating things. Now here I don't like it. It looks a little bit dull, so I'm going to make it richer. I'm going to put more magenta, maybe a touch of blue, just a touch, and more white. Of course, white always kills the saturation. It makes the colors look dull. So I always need to be very careful using white. Just a little bit goes a long way. Here I'm going to close on the objects. Beautiful. And you don't need to be careful. You don't need to be soft. Just push the color, move it. You'll see. Push it, play with it. Don't have mercy on the brush. You know, push the color hard, use your muscles. This is the stage at the beginning of the painting. This is the stage to use force. At the end of a painting, you can be more gentle, you know, when you start putting details. But at this stage, you need to move your muscles. Even now, I'm feeling a little bit, my shoulder is hurt because I'm pushing hard. I'm pushing the paint. I'm moving it all around. This is the beauty in painting at this stage. When you start the block-in stage, we only want to cover the canvas as quickly as possible. You see? Don't be too gentle. Beautiful. Now I'm taking this soft brush and just blurring, you see? Blurring the areas because I want it to be soft. I don't want the background to have details. I want it to be soft. You see? Beautiful. Like this. Good enough. Nice. Now I want to start the dark areas. I will look for dark areas in the cups, in the bottle, you see, here. So I can take a little bit of this. I don't need to clean it. I just don't want white to affect my mixture too much. So it's very easy. I want to mix the color of the dark areas. I can see that it's like ultramarine blue, maybe a touch of burnt umber just to make it darker. I will use a little bit of linseed oil. It's good enough. Maybe more ultramarine, yes. Vivid, strong, beautiful. Now I come here, this area. I will put the dark that I can see. Something like that. Good enough. Maybe more blue. I can see that we have darkness inside, so I just put it. Don't need to be scared, just do it. Here we have it. I can see here we have darkness. It's going inside like this. Here, good enough. This area here is more vivid, so I'm taking a touch of white, just a touch, not too much. More ultramarine blue, and making my mark inside like this. It's more saturated. Beautiful. No need to dive into details. I'm just putting the colors that my eyes can see, more or less. Now I'm jumping the bottom of the cup. I can see a little bit darker, so I'm taking with a little bit of burnt umber, which will make it much darker, and making my mark here. You see? Beautiful. Maybe here. Why not? And here. Nice. Now the bottle, a little bit more linseed oil. I want it to be more manageable. And I'm taking the inside of this bottle and darken this area here. Nice. And here, and here, and this is the top. Beautiful. This area here is more magenta. I have magenta inside the blue. I can see it. You need to trust your eyes. If your eyes are seeing something, trust your vision. I'm putting this here, you see? Without thinking too much. I'm trusting my eyes. Maybe a little bit darker here. Nice. Even darker here. No exaggerations. Just putting a touch, you see. That's it. Beautiful. I can see this area here with a little bit more white, but it's still dark. Nice. And there is a vivid, very vivid and very saturated shadow here on the table, you see. So I'm using more blue, cleaner blue, but I'm not putting the highlight. I'm just putting not the darkest version, just a little bit brighter, and later on I will build on it. I don't want to put the very brightest colors now. I want to keep it for a little bit later. But still, you will be able to see it in this video, I hope. Okay. What else? Maybe here we have a little bit of darkness that I can build on it later. Nice. I want to cover the table, and I want to put a little bit of yellow, just a touch of yellow, but still using magenta, because the table is closer to us. I want it to look a little bit warmer, just a touch warmer than the rest of the background. I'll put a little bit of linseed oil. I like it. Let's see. Maybe I need a little bit brighter, maybe a touch of blue. just to cool it down just a touch, but still it will be warmer than the background because of the yellow. Let's see, brighter, a little bit brighter. Perfect. Nice. I don't want to take it to the absolute brightest. I will keep the bright areas, the highlights, and the spotlights and all this to the very end. So I'm keeping it brighter but very careful. Here I can cover this, I can connect this area with the background. Later I can cover it, of course, no problem. You see how it's a little bit warmer, you see? There's something yellowish. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to put this because I don't want the cups and all the objects to to look like as if they are flying in the air. No, I want them to sit down on this table. Now I want to fill the dark areas in this wine here and here. I will start with this one. You know what? This one. A little bit of brown. I don't care that I have a white here because I have just a little bit of white. It will not bother the paint. A little bit of brown. This here I want to introduce a little bit of cadmium red. I want it to be closer and more vivid. Maybe a little bit of yellow and more red to make it orangey, but I will kill it with a little bit of brown. I will make it a little bit darker. This mixture here is beautiful. Maybe a little bit of magenta. Yeah, this can be beautiful for this area here, for the base that I can build on it later on. Very nice, you see? It's more alive. And of course I will cover, this area is darker. I will take a little bit of brown and blue to make it much darker. Even more blue and more blue. Beautiful. This is dark enough now. And I will put my marks here and here, push it in. Here we have, like, the bottom of the bottle from the inside. I can cover the dark all this area, then I can brighten it. I always like to work from dark to brightness, because you can manipulate the dark paint, you can make it brighter. You see, for example, now I have the base, the darkness. It's very easy to take a little bit from this color and push it in, put it in. It will make it even more realistic, you see. And if I take a little bit of yellow, even more, you see. I'll make it round here, the base. Maybe a little bit less. Like this. And I will come back and I will, because now I'm using bristle brush. You see, it's very tough. The hair is very strong. Later I will come back and I will use softer brushes to manipulate areas and, blurring areas and to push color into another and so on. But now I just want to cover it as quickly as possible. So I'm using tough bristle, you see. I want to mark a little bit of the beautiful color of the wine and the inside here. So I will make a more vivid color, more red, just a touch of brown, something like that, more red and yellow to push it. Yeah, a little bit of brown, just to take it down a touch. Let's see. Beautiful, more vivid, yes. Beautiful. This way I will know for later on. It's like I'm making a map to myself that I will come back and work on these areas to brighten and to make it look transparent and as if the light is entering the bottle. Okay, now I will jump to fill the areas here in the bottle. As we can see, this color here on the inside is very close to the background, just a touch darker and maybe a little bit cooler, more grayish. So I want to mix the same mixture as the background and play with it. I don't know, I don't need to clean this. I just will take it and play with it. I will put white because I want it to be a little bit, you know, dirtier, like grayish at the inside. So I will take blue, something like that, and it's perfect to keep working on the same colors on your palette because this will make the painting more harmonious. You don't need to clean the area all the time, just push it, work on it, put color and color, and you know, this will make the painting look more united, unified. More yellow, more blue, sorry. I'm already at a very beautiful color that I want to use. I'm just putting, I want it to look a little bit like the background and push it brighter. Let's see. This color there, I have more and more blue. I need more blue on my palette. Alrighty, I added blue. Don't be cheap when painting. Always have more paint than you need. It's better to have more than to mix it again and again and, you know, be generous. Enjoy it. Enjoy wasting paint. As we can see here, on the inside, it's a little bit cooler than mine. So more blue, just a touch. A little bit of linseed oil. Yeah, this is the color. Let's see, beautiful for the inside, beautiful. Of course, I need to make it more brighter, more vivid. More like it. Yeah, better. And I'm not going to the edge. I'm still not nailing the colors that I know that I will make later. I want the medium colors. I don't want to go to the extreme at this stage. This stage, we want to cover the painting. I'm covering the painting like this. Beautiful. Of course, I can go back and brighten all this area more and more. It's very easy with oil paint. Especially when this layer is still wet. And I'm planning to paint for a few hours today. So I think I will finish it. I think I will be able to put everything that I want today. So you will be lucky. You will be able to see the entire process. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, help this channel reach as many people. If you like it, of course. More vivid, more white. Very nice. Beautiful. I'm still using tough hair, you see? It's bristle. When I finish this layer, this stage, I think I can go to synthetic brushes and softer brushes to blur all the areas, all the shadows. I need to put this shadow back here. It disappeared. I want to be able to see it. It helps my eyes to be able to see it. Nice. I can see that here it's brighter. The color is brighter here. The bottle is transparent. It's a little bit brighter here. Nice. Now I will jump to this wine. Here I'm using a little smaller brush because this area is very small. I will take quinacridone magenta, a little bit of the same blue, ultramarine blue. Yeah, very vivid, very beautiful. More magenta. This is good enough for the base color. Very vivid. You see this area here? It's darker, but it's still vivid. You can see the magenta, the redness, purplish, like this. And never be scared when the brush goes out from the area. There is no problem later to push the background in, and it's always easy to correct the shape, the border of the object that you are painting. Don't be scared if you go like this out. It's okay, it's normal. Just cover areas. Just think about the painting as areas. You're covering areas. Don't think about it too much. Just cover the area. You see, like this. I covered this, the bottom half of the cup. It already looks much better sitting on the table. You see this area here? I can take the same color and push it in. You see? It's very easy to correct the shape, the borders. It's very easy. You can take from here, this, and then I can take a little bit of white at the same color that I worked before, come back and just, beautiful. No problem. Like it. But this area is much darker. So I'm going to take more blue and a little bit of brown and magenta. Just to push it, to make it more, a little bit darker, a little bit. Let's see. Beautiful, you see? Maybe here, the line. And I can see a little bit here, a little bit of darkness. That's it. Now I can push it inside here. At the inside, you see? We can see that this area is darker in the photo. And I don't want to touch the bright areas. You know, it's very tempting. It's like calling me to touch this brightness here and to already reach the effect. But no, I need to be disciplined and work from dark to bright. I'm pushing a little bit from the background color. I'm still not touching the bright areas, but I do want to make the background enter the cups. I don't know if these are the correct words, but I want to be able to see the color of as if I'm painting the water, you see. I want to be able to see it. It will help me. Like this. Look how the directions of the brushwork, like I'm making a mess, you see. I don't want to be like this, like this. No, it's a mess. I want everything to blend, everything to... This here is a little bit brighter, I can see. This area here, but still without touching the brightest bright. I'm just putting marks so I can know the direction for later on. This is the color. As if I'm painting the inside of the glass, you see? Nice. Maybe this area here is a little bit more vivid, the blue. And here. Later I can play with it. Now I can just put marks where the brightness will be. If I have too much color on the brush, I can wipe it. I always wipe it. I have this in my other hand. If I have too much color, I can always wipe the brush to keep it more fresh. This will make the brush accept different paint much easier. Here I'm not bothering with the border too much because I can always go back and play with it. I just want to cover everything fast, you see. I want to put the top of the water here. More or less. Nice. I wipe the brush, come here, and I correct this touch. Nice. There is some kind of a logo here, a sticker on the cup. I don't know if I want to paint it. I don't think so. I don't think it will look nice in this painting. So I will erase it. I will just cover it. This is the beauty in painting. You can do whatever you want. I think I'm able to imagine the rest of it, of the glass without this logo. I don't want it. It doesn't look good here in this painting. I want it to be pure glasses. Don't be scared to change anything in a painting. This is the freedom in art. This is not a photo. This is a painting. You can do whatever you want. A little bit darker here. Very nice. I will make this here a little bit softer. And now I do want to, I need to put a little bit more white, just a touch of white. Here, I need it to separate this area from the other cup. You see? Maybe a little bit more. I'm very careful with white. You see, at this stage, I'm taking a little bit and I don't want it to become chalky. Just want, you see, it's very thick. It's not good for me at this stage. So I'm wiping it with a brush. If I use a little less force, so I just take it away and wipe it. The beauty in oil painting. You can do whatever you want. It's so easy. Okay, what about this area here? I need to make it a little bit. This mess here, I'm using it with a little bit more blue, and I will cover the inside here. Like this. That's it. Go back. And refining this area. Enough for now, because I can go back. Of course, I'm not blind. I can see that it's a little bit more bluish and brighter here on the inside. But I started with the darker, so then when I go back, so it will have a border, you see? A border on this, the roundness of the cup. Oh no, look, I touched here. Look, the beauty in oil paint. Look at this. Tuck, 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 tuck. That's it. And if I want more, to correct it more, I can come back like this. 2 touches. That's it. Because it's wet. It will stay wet for 5 days. You see, this is the beauty in oil paint. Okay, I want to cover this area here as quickly as possible. I will use the same mess here, more blue, because there we can see that it's more vivid. The blue is very alive, very alive. Something like this. Let's see. Yes, beautiful. More vivid, more saturated, and a little bit of linseed oil to make it more flowy. And I will come back here and correct the shape of the inside. This, I can even see it here. Nice. Look how this area here, when we see the cup behind, it's a little bit more violet, you see? The light is breaking. Let's take this. And a little bit brighter here. Nice. I need to put a little bit light here, just a touch. And here. More light, just a touch, just a little bit. This will help my eyes to judge values. I need to have this here a little bit brighter, just a touch. This will help a lot for later on. You see? This gives the bottle the brightness here. And I wipe this area like this. Nice. I want to cover this area. It's bothering my eye. So I'm taking blue. I want it to be quite dark. Not too much, but more than the surrounding area. So with a little bit of brown, I make it much darker. And I want this area to be darker. Even a little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah. Then it becomes bright, but I don't want to reach this brightness at this stage. But I will put like a mark for myself that this area will have this color. Like this, you see? And I'm pushing it in, playing with it. Later I will make it stronger, but now it's good enough, like this. Just, it's like a signal, like a road map. This tells me that later I need to come here and check this area. Treasure map, you see? This bright color here will lead me later to come back and refine it. I just don't want to see the color of the background of the canvas. This orangey, this is a burnt sienna that I covered with a wash, you know, a very transparent burnt sienna with Gamsol, because it helps a lot not to paint on white surface, because white surface will be too bright and it will make it so difficult to judge values if the surrounding is white. So I tend to cover the canvas always, you know, with some kind of wash, a little bit darker than white, but not too dark. I can correct this area here. I can take the background and push it in. Nice. I want to have a darkness, but it's a little bit warm. I can see it here. There's some kind of shadow, but it's a little bit warmer than the surrounding areas. I think this is good enough. I'll come back from here. I'll put it. Nothing that I'm doing now is the end result. I'm just putting a roadmap, more or less. But the more I put, the more things my eyes see at this stage, the easier it will become for later on in the painting. I'm taking a little bit of magenta with, and I want this border here. It's beautiful. It's very clear. Nice. Beautiful. And there's like very strong color here, you see? Like red magenta, bombastic. There's a very strong brightness coming here for some reason. Like this. You can wipe it. And this color goes in this shadow, like this, and disappears. These fine details that you can see during the painting, this makes all the difference in painting. Look here, there's like a reflection, right? So I'm just putting a little bit of it so I can go back and work on it later on. There's a blue brightness here. So I'm just putting a mark, you see? I can take this beautiful dark violet bluish and push it once again here in this area. Nice. Now I can see that I lost the strength here of the blue. There's a very strong blue line. I will take a little bit of magenta and red and put inside more blue, just a lick of white, just to make the pigments pop. I go back here. And put it. Even more bluish. It's almost pure blue here, dark blue. And then it becomes brighter on the inside, like here, you see? Nice, very nice. I want to add some more magenta, and I want to introduce a little bit of cerulean blue. I will put it here. Just a little bit. I think that it's time for me to start using a softer brush. You see, this one is synthetic. This will help me more with more details and soft touches. Let's see what happens. Okay, first I want to cover this area. The top of the bottle, I'll take a little bit of linseed oil here. A little bit of brown. It's some kind of brownish greenish. So I want it first to be very, very dark. Blue with brown, touch of yellow. Good enough. A little bit more linseed oil to make it flow better. Let's see. Beautiful. The soft brush will help me achieving finer details. It's much easier than bristle. So very slowly I cover this area here. I want this to be the base, very dark. Don't be scared if you go out. We can always mix the background color and push it in. No problem. So don't be scared if you mess up, if you go outside of the shape. It happens a lot. Nice. Now the cover is a little bit more magenta. So I would put magenta in the same mixture. Beautiful. Now I'll come here and just put it in like this. Then I correct the shape a little bit. You see, I went out. Later I can fix it. After covering this area, I can start putting the midtones, and maybe I don't need to fix it. Maybe I will just let it be. Okay, now I can start putting more midtones, maybe, before jumping to highlights. I can see there's some kind of bluish light on the bottle. So I can take a little bit of blue and cerulean blue, just a lick of white. You see how white changes color so fast. You need to be careful with white. Let's see. You can see a little bit of blue here. Just this here we have like a greenish highlight, but it's still bluish. So I'll make it like this. I will come here and boom. Like this. Nice. I want this to be softer a little bit. So I go back with the same brush and just do like this. Here we have more light. The magenta is showing more. So take the same mixture. Not too much, just a touch. Maybe a little bit more. With a little bit of white. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. Now there's something. There's like a line here separating these two. It's very dark. So I make my darks by mixing blue with brown to reach the darkest darks. A little bit of linseed oil to make the line finer. I come here and put it here. And one more line is up here. Beautiful. Now I can see that there is more darkness on the left side. I'll just put more blue. Come here. That's it. You see here, I will come back later and correct this. Now I want to cover the rest here. What about this here? The top of the wine. Without cleaning, without nothing, I will just take a little bit of white, put it here. And I will check with my eyes what is the mixture that I'm getting here. I can see that this area is more bluish and more a little bit reddish and magenta. Let's see. This can be a great base color, maybe a little bit more magenta. I will check this. It's warmer there. A little bit. I will push some orange into it, like this, and then cool it with a little bit of magenta and a little bit darker on the right side, I can see. So I darken with brown, blue, one of them or both. A little bit of linseed oil to make it flow better. Yes, beautiful. This is the right side. And then it becomes a little bit brighter. So I take a little bit of cerulean because the light is, I can see that it's cool. It becomes cooler, maybe even like this. I come here a little bit even brighter. What about that? It's like magic. Every touch you put makes it more vivid, more. I can see that it's even brighter, so more white. Let's give it a punch. And more cerulean. Let's go crazy. Very nice. Good enough. Here. It's all about suggestions. You don't need to put too much work. Just suggestions. So the viewer can think that he's seeing some kind of liquid inside. Very nice. And there's a dark line below this. So I will make it like this with a little bit of violet. Maybe a little bit brown. And here I can push once again dark colors into like the inside of the bottle. Maybe here I will make it darker. Okay. It's a little bit warmer. I can see this area here is warmer. What I put here is like violet. It's not correct. It needs to be more brownish. Let's see. Much better. There's a very dark line at the bottom. I'm sure you can see it here. So I want like this, and then some kind of a little bit of light. I can see it through. So just suggestions. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Good enough. I can see some blue popping here. Beautiful. Okay, I think I will shut up now and just keep watching and enjoy the rest of the process.